to my annual houseplant tour. I'm 𝗩𝗲𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂𝗂, a master gardener and garden author. I've written many garden books and a lot of articles, including when I wrote for the LA Times as a garden columnist. I started gardening with houseplants when I was 7 years old. It all started with the coleus plant. Today I have a lot of houseplants, and you've seen a lot of them in my videos. I really like doing my houseplant tour. One reason I like to do it is because I like to see how my plants have grown over the past year. I also like to see all the plants I've added to my collection over the past year, including rescues and those rescued plants that I've revived. Many of those plants you've seen in my revival series as well, and I'll be pointing some of those out to you today. Before we get started, a note about supporting my channel. I recently started a Patreon and I'd love for you to join. Please click the link below and check it out. Also, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That helps too. Now let's get started. I'm starting here with just a quick view of my dining room. This is where I do most of my taping for the videos, and of course it looks a little different when I'm doing the taping, including not having the chairs there. In the center of the table there is a terrarium, and I'm going to give you a close-up view of that next. It's very cute. But I just wanted to show you what, just a view that I hadn't shown before of what, where I tape and what it looks like when I'm not taping. And you can see that surrounded by plants, of course, as is many rooms in my house. As I mentioned, here in the center of my dining room table is my cute terrarium. A little hard to see with the glass cloche on top. I'm going to show it to you with that, and then I'm going to take it off so you can get a better view of what's going on in there. But you can see in there, that's a brake fern. I do have a video on growing them, and ferns like it very moist, so they're a really good choice for terrariums which stay moist. I do have a whole playlist on how to create a terrarium, as well as creating an indoor fairy garden. I will link those below, as well as any other videos I mentioned in this video. Okay, so you can see the close-up there. I'm going to stop it for a second and take off the cloche because there's a little glare there. Okay, so here we are with the cloche off of the terrarium. In real life, you can see really nicely through the terrarium, but because of the lighting, the lights, it's harder to see, so that's why I took it off. Okay, so you can see the overall effect here, and then I'm going to go up closer so you can see so under that archway, there is a little fairy, and she's very surprised because she has a visitor, and that visitor is that red bird that suddenly showed up at her door. So that's I like to I'm actually author of fairy gardening, and another one of my books, and as we talk about in the book, you want to create a story when you create a fairy garden, and when you create it, even when you create a terrarium, and if you put something besides plants in the terrarium. So it's very fun to do that. So you can see that she's kind of surprised that she has that visitor at her door. And when it looks like, oh, there's not a lot of plants in this terrarium, but you really don't want to pack in too many plants, because especially if the plants are, the plants might get a little bit, this plant will get bigger. It's been in here for a while, but it's going to continue to get bigger. So if you pack in too many plants, all you end up with is looks like a jungle in there, and that's great if you like that look. But if you want to be able to see other things that you've put in the terrarium, then you want to have just one or two plants, depending. Oh, it depends on the size. Obviously, if it's a big terrarium, you can put a lot more plants. So there you go with that really cute look. A look at the terrarium there. And as I said, I do have a playlist on how to create terrariums as well. Okay, here we are in a corner of my dining room, aka filming room. Quite a few plants tucked in here, as you can see. I'm going to go over them overall. I'm going to do a few close-ups as well. So to the very left in that rectangular trough-like thing are succulents that I rooted in my propagation series on rooting succulents, and those are doing really well. To the right of that in the front is a jade plant that's doing really well that I also rooted, and then behind that is an 𝗥𝗲𝗍𝘂𝗂𝗱, and to the right of that a 𝗥𝗲𝗍𝘂𝗂𝗱 fragrans, so the corn plant. To the right of that, you'll see a few leaves of a monstera, and then in the foreground front here, you'll see a pretty Dieffenbachia. To the right of the Dieffenbachia, you'll see a prayer plant. Behind the prayer plant is a 𝗍𝗿cie benjamina. To the very right over there, the plant with green down the middle and yellow leaves, that is a peperomia. Behind that, you will see some 𝗥𝗲𝗓 marginatas and another corn plant behind that. Actually, that one that I said was 𝗥𝗲𝗓 fragrans is 𝗥𝗲𝗓 Janet Craig, the one to the left, and the one to the right is 𝗥𝗲𝗓 fragrans that has the yellowing along the sides of the leaves. And I'll show you close-ups now of all these beauties so you can know which ones is which are which. And also underneath those succulents there is my 𝗥𝗲𝗍𝗂𝗁𝘁𝗀𝗃, which really likes that spot, which is interesting. It's a little bit more shaded, even though, and this western window does have a camellia, a large camellia in front of it, so it does provide some, it's more like dappled western sunlight for the plants. And also in the wintertime in this corner, I will go ahead and add supplemental lighting sometimes when I feel like the plants just aren't getting enough light, especially when we have long rainy days, which we do get here in Southern California. Okay, so as mentioned down below there, we have the 𝗥𝗲𝗍𝗂𝗁𝘁𝗀𝗃, which is a beautiful variegated pothos. I have a plant spotlight and I believe a care video on that one as well. Glacier, because of that beautiful white variegation on the plant. And then to the right of that, of course, Dieffenbachia, aka dumb cane. I have a video coming out on their care, as well as a series on saving them if you have one that is having difficulties. Okay, here's a close-up of this gorgeous prayer plant. I absolutely love prayer plants. I love when they pray. Some species are more likely to pray than others. I do have a video on one that does really good praying, and it shows you what it looks like in prayer. So this one is another beauty, and it's got a few leaves turned up because it is later in the day, and it'll probably close up a few more leaves as the night goes on. Okay, so there's a corn plant standing up tall behind there, the one with the limey green border on the beautiful leaves. Corn plants, 𝗥𝗲𝗓 fragrans, get very tall, very beautiful. My more mature one has flowered with this gorgeous scent. In the wintertime it will do that. So really, really fun plant to grow. Really nice indoor tree. Okay, and then a little close-up. See it more close up there. To the left of that, you will see a monstera leaf, and there's more of the plant down below, kind of at floor level, growing here and there, aerial roots everywhere. You can keep I have a video on what you can keep them on, or how to remove them if you want to remove them, if they're kind of growing all over the place. Okay, so that's that. In front of to a little bit to the right of that monstera leaf, and in front there's two 𝗥𝗲𝗓 marginatas, two different color variations. One has a dark green and a yellow inside the leaf and striped down the leaf, and the other one has more of a white, as you will see down the leaf. Both really nice. 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗀𝗃 marginatas are great plants as well. I love peperomias. That plant in the center there with the yellowy, creamy outer and the beautiful variegated leaves with that really striking green patterning in the center of that beautiful leaf, each beautiful leaf. Peperomias are so easy to grow. They are just really great plants to have in your indoor garden, and they also are pet friendly, so pet safe as well. And there's lots of peperomias varieties to grow as well. Some are all green, some have a lot of variegation, some are different colors of green. You have different colors of green, so really fun opportunities with this pretty plant. And they're a medium grower. They're not a real fast grower. I'd call them a medium grower. So really nice plant for your indoor garden. Okay, here we have another beautiful Dracaena. Love this one too, the coloration in the leaves. I did mention to you that I would show you some of the plants that I had rescued, and that Dracaena was one of the rescues. When I found it, actually, I will find them sometimes at different nurseries, or when people are just randomly selling plants. They don't look too good, but I can usually, I'm a sucker for strays. So that beauty was pretty small, pretty straggly. I'm gonna have to start taking photos of these plants when I get them so I can show you. I just usually just hurry up and transplant, and because usually they're in horrible soil or in too big of a pot, and then I just do whatever I can quickly to get them, because I feel bad, like I got to get this poor plant into a good situation. I forget to do the before photos, so I'm going to have to start doing that. But as you can see, this beauty is really looking nice here, and it's growing bigger and bigger every day. It was several months ago that I got the plant as a little scrawny little thing. Like I said, Dracaenas are pretty fast growing. Okay, so then a little bit to the left of the Dracaena in the background there, you will see another Dieffenbachia. That one has the pretty white and then green in the leaves there. Yeah, so there's a closer up look of that Dieffenbachia there. The compacta is the cultivar, real pretty one. And actually that plant wasn't looking too good when I got it from a little nursery as well. So it's looking a lot better now too. Doing some nice vining down there. To the right is your standard pothos. And then to the left of that, we've got a really nice heartleaf philodendron that is cascading down several feet, and it's going to the left a bit and to the right a bit and on the floor a bit. So it's a real pretty one as well. Okay, so here's another corner. This is a northeast corner. You will see in the very front there, those strappy leaves, another Dracaena. That one is a Madagascar dragon tree. Behind that is a plant, the name's escaping me, so I will find out and put it in the description below. But it looks like a Dracaena, but it is not a Dracaena. It's another one of those outdoor shrubs that can also be grown nicely indoors. Go ahead and give you a closer up look of that one there so you can see it right there. It's got those strappy leaves, like I mentioned, that it looks like a Dracaena, but it is not. So that is a really nice one as well. And then to the very right of that, with the round leaves, and they are actually velvety soft, that is a 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗀𝗃. As I mentioned, peperomias are really easy to grow, and they can be very beautiful, very different leaf. Most of the leaves are pretty round like that, but different leaf colors. And like I said, this one in particular, the encana, has a furry leaf little tiny hairs on the leaves that make it very furry. I have a video on that one as well, a few videos on that one. So it's another really gorgeous addition to any indoor garden, and real easy to grow as well. Medium light, it thrives in medium light. Okay, so then moving out a little bit here, behind that 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗀𝗃 with the big leaves there, you see, that is a philodendron. I love the philodendron species as well because there's so many different types. The ones with the big leaves like that, I love. So there's actually two together there. The one to the very right is red Congo, and you will see that it has red, a lot of red on the stem, and when the new leaves start to come out, those are also red, so that's a very striking plant. The other one is pretty much all green, and they're kind of growing, intermingling together there. So a little bit close up, a closer close up, you can see the red in that philodendron red Congo there. So the difference, and then the one to the left, you'll see that the stem is green. Okay, I moved things around a little bit so I could show you this tower. This tower I usually keep to the right there, next to the door frame there, but trying to, it doesn't work too well to film it in that location, but I did want to show it to you so you can see it's a really cool tower. A lot of time I keep things that are pretty eye-catching. You can see when you walk through the doorway, on top is a beautiful Hoya, which has some pink variegation in it. I also have two African violets, and actually on the very bottom I have a pink polka dot plant as well. So you can see all of them in that beautiful tower, and I will do a close-up too so you can see each of the plants. Here's a close-up of that beautiful Hoya. You can see the little bit of pink blush in that leaf to the left there, and there's some other leaves with the pink blush as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plant. This African violet on the second row there, it's really, really light mauve color, and with a yellow center there. Beautiful, really beautiful African violet. This African violet on the third tier is a really cool one that has some mauve flowers and some purple flowers, and the centers are all yellow. It's a really unusual one. I love this plant. This African violet. I love all African violets, but this one's really, really eye-catching and unusual. So that is the third plant, the second African violet that's in full bloom. And at the bottom level, we have a pretty pink polka dot plant, which always lights up the indoor garden in a pretty, I like to use coffee mugs, tea mugs, for plants sometimes, especially when they have a really pretty coloration that does a good matching job with the plant. And that bottom shelf is pretty big. A lot of times I'll have other things down there as well that are when they're in bloom and looking good. Okay, in another corner of my dining room here, got a lot of really pretty plants here as well. You'll see in the foreground here the purple plant, purple, dark purple, and a lighter purple. That is a 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝘂𝗃, really pretty one. It is night now, so it is somewhat, it's praying. The top leaves are up, which it doesn't do during the day. They'll all be down. To the left of that is another 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗂𝗃, a really pretty one as well. Now the one to the left there is a rescue. I got it this past summer. It's late December right now, and it was looking pretty peaked when I got it. A lot of brown leaf edges, etc., which is from improper watering, low humidity, etc. So it's looking a lot better now. It only had about 2 or 3 leaves at that point, and now I think it has, looks like 5, 6 leaves now. I'll do a closer up view of it soon here. To the right in the back there is my big croton. I love that croton. You've probably seen that in my intros. And then in right underneath it there is parlor palm. So that's Marco the parlor palm, which was he was in, I believe it was my pH series. So how pH is really important. Soil pH is really important to plant health. That's another series I have, and he's believed that he was in that. He's doing really well. And then behind that you'll see a peace lily. That peace lily, a lot of people call the white spath. It's a spath. A flower. It's not technically a flower. I had somebody recently go on and on about that, and it's a spath. So it's not a true flower, but you know, it looks like a flower, right? So the botanical name is 𝗣𝗿𝗁𝘂𝗰𝘁𝘀. Okay, so then to the left of that, on that table to the left there, you will see an Algerian ivy in the back there. And then in front of that, on the left there, we have the zebra plant, 𝗩𝗶𝗱𝗂𝗁𝘂𝗋𝗄𝗂. In the front foreground, and I'm going to get a little closer on this so you can see that one table and talk about that, and then we'll go back out again. Here is a closer up view of the calathea, the two calatheas there. I actually just counted the leaves on the one that I'm reviving, and there's 8 leaves now. So prior there was 3 little sad little leaves that were all crispy on the edges, and now it's looking really good and all the new leaves are coming out beautiful. To the left of that, there's a small aglaonema there. It's a pink one, so I think it's called red, but it's actually more pinky in color. And that's in front of the Xanthosoma lindenii, also known as Caladium lindenii. So that one with the arrow-shaped leaves and the beautiful pale yellow coloration over green. I have a video on that one that's as well as actually all these in here. Okay, and then a little bit to the left, as I mentioned, the zebra plant, the 𝗪𝗡𝗪 squarosa. There's the botanical name, so that one there too, another beauty. I'm going to pan out a little bit now to get more in the shot here. You'll see to the right that my tower that I showed you earlier close up, but you can see it's kind of hard to get the full view on here. Okay, and then we have to the left of the zebra plant there, my philodendron Birkin, which is doing really well. It's gotten a lot bigger than it used to be. Behind that is a pretty good sized ZZ plant. I have a smaller one that's not in the shot, but that's a pretty good sized ZZ plant back there in that striped pot. That's a really nice one as well. I'm going to get a closer up view for you. So there's that ZZ plant. You can see they're much more compact when they're younger. They get kind of rangy when they get older. You can prune them some to make them more bushy. I tend to like them ranging out like that. It's more of their natural growth pattern, which I tend to let plants do. To the right of that, and towards the back a little bit, is a 𝗥𝗲𝗄𝗂𝗁𝘂𝗂𝗱 Fabian. And that one was a rescue, and I have another one that was a rescue. I'm showing you a picture of it right now too. So both of those were rescues, both looking really, really good. And then I'm going to show you to the right of that someone special in there as well. To the right of the 𝗥𝗲𝗂𝗁𝘂𝗂𝗱 Fabian, you'll see a rubber tree. That is Henry, who was saved in my root rot series. He's doing really well nowadays, as you can see. Up there hanging from a gourd there, that is satin pothos, botanically known as Scindaptus pictus. So it actually isn't a pothos, but they call it satin pothos because of the silvery and green leaves, and it is somewhat soft, and also it looks like a pothos. It has a similar leaf. So that is a really beautiful plant as well. And we're going to move on to another section. Here's a corner of my my front room. It's a front room here, like a study room, a parlor. And this you see here is in front there is the purple velvet plant. 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁𝗂𝗰𝘁𝗀 is the species of plant, beautiful plant, and I have a video coming out on its care. And then to the right there's a miniature African violet set up in a pretty little, actually I think that was like a little jewelry box. Then to the left of that, also purple, because this room tends to be very purple. I have a lot of things from my mother who loved purple, and that actually is her statue with the purple ball there. So that to the left there of the African violets is a Persian shield, which has a beautiful silvery leaves with silvery color and purple and green. And I'm going to do some close-ups here for you. Okay, so there's a close-up of the purple velvet plant. As mentioned, I have videos on it. I also have a plant spotlight on it as well. Going back out a little bit here. At the floor level there is actually a 𝗩𝗶𝗱𝗂𝗁, so that one is happy there. And then I'm going to show you some close-ups of the Persian shield and the African violet. So there's a close-up of the Persian shield and the African violet, and actually in the foreground in that cabinet there, that picture is of my great-grandma Rose, and I have her middle name as well. Her name, Rose, is my middle name. And to the right of that are some flowers, some faux flowers that my grandma made. So a lot of memories in there. And then I have a really cool painting that I got from a local artist that I'm going to show you in a second. Okay, so a little hard to get the full view, but she goes all her feet. You can see her feet at the bottom of the painting. She's holding some red flowers there in her hand. And this is actually a door frame, a framed piece of a door. The artist does the paintings within the door frames, which is really cool. So this is a really nice painting. I named her Maeve, and that was before my granddaughter was born, and she's named Maeve, and my daughter named her Maeve. Didn't know I had named my painting Maeve, which is really cute. So I really like that painting. She fits in well. She also matches really nicely with things like purple velvet plant and the Persian shield and the purple African violets. Okay, we are ending the tour in this corner of a room. It's actually a southeast corner, so it's a really good spot for plants that like high light or a bright light, I should say. You do have to be a little bit careful about the southern windows, especially in the winter time, that you don't get any sunburn on the leaves, but you can pull them back a few feet if necessary. I have, as you can see, one of my orchids here, which really likes the location, and I don't always also to pull up the blind all the way. Sometimes I'll do it partially, just depending on how bright the sun is. It's the window to the right is the southern, and the one to the left is the eastern. Sometimes I'll just do the eastern light. So we have that orchid as mentioned. We have a 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗁𝗂𝗁 there to the left of the orchid, really pretty plant. And then to the left of that, we have another rescue, and that is a fiddle leaf fig. So that one was looking really bad when someone had me take care of it. And actually, that's Matilda. She's been in some videos. So we have a revival series on her as well. So she's doing really well too. I do have a zigzag plant that's down below the a zigzag cactus that's down below the orchid that I'll show you. So there's the zigzag cactus. Really likes a lot of highlight too, which is really good for it as well. So that is it for this year's tour. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.